In this video, we were talking about things actually getting fixed over at Disney. I know, believe it or not, you should maybe take notes, Universal. But we're going to talk about things getting fixed at Disney. We're also going to talk about a host of other things. I got Citrus George in the house with me today. We're talking shop with you all on OG 55. Welcome aboard to another episode of OG 55. I got Citrus George with me, my fellow Italiano.
And we're just Italiano. Forget about it.
Forget about it. George, if you could let everybody at home know where they can find you on social media, sir.
Absolutely. You can find me on X at Disney George. You could also find me on the podcast, A Walk with Walt. And of course, you'll find me here on my home base at Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
Yep, absolutely. Here, I'll go ahead and chime you in, sir. There we go. You are officially in the house, George. Okay, so let's dive into our first topic today, which is Sanfransokyo. Okay, now this is interesting. So there was a lot of noise on Twitter or X or whatever, right? A lot of noise, even on YouTube. A lot of people were like, oh my God, Disney, look at the cheap craftsmanship and it's falling apart already, right? Brand new. There's a lot. People were very, very loud when it was broken. But this story dropped a few days ago. The Torii Gate Bridge repaired in Sanfransokyo Square at Disney California Adventure. We recently reported that some of the posts supporting the Torii Gate Bridge in Sanfransokyo Square at DCA were starting to fall apart, and we are happy to report they have since been fixed. Now, it's funny that people were very loud when it was broken, but man, it's been fucking crickets ever since, though, huh, George? Ever since they fixed it, I haven't heard really anybody except for DLNT talking about it. What do you think about this, man?
Yeah, not a peep. Go figure. I was just out at the Disneyland Resort for like 4 nights this past week, and I got to actually experience it. Sanfransokyo myself, and I actually took some pictures and everything, and actually I do agree with you when you had mentioned on a previous recording the bridge is a lot bigger than what it looks like in photographs and video. It really is.
Oh yeah.
And when I was there, it actually looked like it was fixed, because I purposely took pictures thinking that I was going to see maybe some of the damaged cracks or what have you, and I didn't see it. So even from several days back, it seemed like that it was repaired. And I think that's a great thing. And I think people are going to gripe and say, yeah, it's fixed now, but what's to say it's going to happen again? And it shouldn't have even happened. Guess what? It's material. It happens. Well, it happens with any structure. Take yourself even out of Disneyland. Any kind of structure, whether it's brand new or not, it's going to wear and tear. And I had told you when we were out there the past few days, Disneyland, along just like with any other Disney park, is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It is going to wear and tear on a much faster rate than any other place will. But the important thing is that they catch it and they fix it.
Right. And I get it. People were saying this is brand new. It shouldn't have been falling apart as quick as it did. And hey, I agree with that. Maybe it should have been done the right way initially. And I don't necessarily disagree with that, right? But I was saying the same shit about the Universal, the Super Nintendo World hills that looked like crap. They were dented and all bent out. But like even before that land opened, 8 months later, they're still not getting fixed. And you know what, George? I do believe there was a clip. I'm going to go ahead and share the clip from a few weeks ago, about this whole thing when everybody was real loud and talking about this bridge being broken. And I brought up the Nintendo hills. I said this stuff. And I guarantee you, I'll say it right now, and maybe I'll eat crow. I bet you that Sanfransokyo Bridge gets fixed long before those hills do. I'll say it right now. I guarantee it. Yeah, let's play one more time. Let's play in case the people get back in here. Let's play one more time. And I guarantee you, I'll say it right now, and maybe I'll eat crow. I bet you that Sanfransokyo Bridge gets fixed long before those hills do. I'll say it right now. I guarantee it.
Well, I have to say, OG, you're not eating crow today, bud. You're eating some pheasant.
I know, right? Exactly. Where's everybody at? Where's Universal at, by the way? Why hasn't Universal? 8 months later, Universal, the hills over Nintendo World still look like crap. Why don't you address it? A lot of fans like to mock Disney. Oh, well, look at the bridge. It was falling apart. Shouldn't have happened in the first place. Oh, look at Toontown. The grass, it's wear and tear. Shouldn't have happened. I agree with you. It shouldn't have happened in the first place. But you know what? At least they're fixing things, right? Where the hell is Universal? Where the hell is Universal? You going to fix those hills, Universal? Or are you going to wait 3 years to do it?
If even.
Let's talk about it.
If even.
If ever.
Yeah.
If ever. So I think it's very, very telling, George. Now, speaking of Toontown and stuff, that's another thing. So they are addressing some of these problem areas in Toontown. Okay, this area that is now being laid with bricks was a fake grass, and I guess Disney wrongfully assumed that people would kind of go through the area and it's like the crowd flow would be different and it wouldn't wear and tear on the fake grass like it did. Well, look, they were wrong. Okay, they should have anticipated it better. But here we are, though. At least they're fixing it. They're addressing the issue.
They're addressing it. And I think also, too, Disney was not anticipating the amount of praise and positivity that Toontown actually received from these updates. And I feel like with the fountain, when you have that fake grass and you add water to it with a lot of guests kind of tracking in and out, a lot of it's going to be when it gets wet and damp, it kind of gets that moldy, mildewy type of, and it'll wear out much quicker. Where if they lay down the brickwork, which they are doing, it'll last longer. So yeah, they had to close it down temporarily to add the bricks, but let's see how much longer this will withstand if they would have just kept the grass and ignored it.
No, exactly. And I don't mind. Look, dude, this comes with whether it's Disney, whether it's Universal, whether it's people, human beings. I'm not going to fault someone for a mistake. It's how you respond to the mistake. Are you going to fix it or are you not going to address it? Right? So look, yes, you can make the argument. The Toontown stuff should have been anticipated. The Sanfransokyo Bridge shouldn't have happened like that, right? You can make all these claims. You can definitely make that argument. But the response to the mistake is also important. And at least they're addressing it. And I haven't heard anybody talking about that Sanfransokyo Bridge in the fandom. Boy, it was loud. When it was broken, everybody was talking about it. People who haven't even been to Sanfransokyo were talking about it, how terrible the land is because of this thing and that thing. People who haven't even stepped foot in it. And they were talking all kinds of crap.
And I have to say, and I reserve judgment, I kind of gave my opinion, but I thought, I'm going to wait until I actually see what this is all about when I physically go. And I took pictures, and I posted them on Twitter when I was there, and I had said, it's amazing to me that you take a land that was basically non-existent to the rest of the park. People just kind of used it as a sit-down place, a resting place, a walking path to get through to either Cars Land or Pixar Pier, that literally they added an IP and right out the gate and added an IP, did a meet and greet, added specialty snacks and drinks and what have you, and the area is a fucking success. It's like, who knew?
No, it's a huge success, dude. Every time I've ever stepped foot since Sanfransokyo opened, every time I've been there, and I've been there a lot now, okay, and so have you. Every time I step foot in there, it's packed. It's wall to wall, way busier than it ever has been. It's a success. I mean, and so was Toontown. Was Toontown, and it was. I remember hearing that too. That, just wait till Super Nintendo World opens. Disneyland Resort's going to be a ghost town. Not so much stuff. And I guarantee you, I'll say it right now, and maybe I'll eat crow. I bet you that Sanfransokyo Bridge gets fixed long before those hills do. I'll say it right now. I guarantee it.
um, but to be honest with you, I think Toontown has more of a crowd flow than Galaxy's Edge does.
Oh yeah, actually you're right, dude. I mean, I know there is a size difference, obviously.
Yeah,
Like Galaxy's Edge is like 14, 15
right.
acres, and Toontown's very a lot smaller. But you're right. I mean, Toontown, we were there together very recently, and it's packed. I mean, it's
Yeah.
constantly packed. And so is Sanfransokyo. That land
Because
is constantly packed.
I feel like the difference with Galaxy's Edge, people use that land to for Rise,
Right.
maybe even Smuggler's Run, maybe Oga's, and then
Oh, I
that's
think
it.
Olga's though, dude. Yeah, the locals definitely like Olga's. I'll tell
Yeah,
you
that's
that.
true. Yeah, yeah. Oga's a little more California than Florida. I mean, they probably still go down there in Florida, but yeah, for the locals for Oga. So yeah, Oga, Smuggler's Run, and Rise, and then that's it. It's like where I know one can argue and say, oh, well, Toontown only has, yeah, but you have Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin, you have Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, you have Chippendale's Gadget Go Coaster, you have the Mickey and Minnie's houses, you have all, just the aesthetics alone, So I don't know. I think Toontown has a little bit more of a one up than Galaxy's Edge. I'm probably in the minority on that one, but from actually being out there how many times and seeing it for myself for both in comparison,
Yeah.
I think Toontown kind of took the prize on that one.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I'm just glad they're addressing this stuff. And fans can get real cynical and say this, that, and the other. And I get it. You know what? Let's appreciate the fact that they're not just mothballing this stuff. Look, I'm not justifying it. But there are things. Look at the Yeti over at Animal Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
How many years have went by, and that thing is still sitting there static?
16.
I mean, right? 16 years. Okay. So Disney can definitely, they definitely can do that. And that's why I was worried, honestly, with Toontown. When I started seeing things breaking, I thought, oh, here we go. They're just going to abandon it. And they're just going to basically put Band-Aids over things and kind of forget about it. They're not. They're actually fixing stuff in the play areas. They're even adding new stuff from what I'm hearing to this stuff. And kudos to them for that. So that's the thing with here on OG55. We will say, look, it's not okay for them to shit the bed and this stuff not be anticipated in advance. We'll call them out on that. But at the same time, you have to also give kudos and props and credit when it's due. You can't just sit here and be a cynical, salty asshole all day long. You have to acknowledge that when things are good, or when they're addressing problems. I even see things like people are complaining now about the construction wall. What do you want? What do you want?
Right.
You want them to fix it or not? What do you want?
Yeah. It's like you can't have your cake and eat it too. It's either one or the other. And to your kind of your tagline that you use all the time, Mochi, with about shitting the bed. It's like, yeah, you can shit the bed. Do you clean it up or do you leave it there for the maggots to set in?
Right. We could ask Johnny Depp about that. He has experience with people shitting in his bed. So I don't know. You know what though? Amber Heard, you can shit in my bed. I don't mind. That's kidding. No, I'm kidding. Don't. No. 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 But okay. So it's time to move on. So our next topic. Let me go ahead and pull it up. This is interesting. This is very, very interesting, actually. Let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. Okay. So this is for courtesy of Mice Chat. We love Mice Chat, and we love Dusty Sage, actually. Dusty Sage is actually friends with my sister. He's always been really cool to my sister. And, hey, if you're cool to my sister, you're a friend of OG. So I appreciate that, Dusty. But Mice Chat here says, Disney's best often emerges in the face of competition. With Universal constructing a new theme park in Florida and planning a multi-park resort, coupled with the emergence of local parks, Disney is investing in their smaller projects. Everything from real estate developments like residential communities and vacation club expansions beyond the parks to entertainment zones and smaller parks and family entertainment options are being explored for communities all over. Okay, so now I did a video when Universal announced they're doing this like little mini like kitty Texas park, right?
Right.
I made a video with former contributor Dash Guy about that. Like we talked about it, and we're kind of breaking it down. And my argument actually in that video was, if Universal is going to create this park, it's like a 20-acre park. It's designed and built by Gensler, by the way. Remember, Gensler is the big bad guy in the Disney community. Every time they touch a hotel, the fanboys are like, oh my God, right? Gensler is the big baddie in the room. No one likes Gensler. Now they're heavily involved in this new Texas Universal Park, which for some reasons is okay. I guess they're going to create a really immersive experience outside of what they do for Disney with these hotels, right?
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway, my whole point in that video was, you cheapen the brand. Yes, I'll say it again. You cheapen the brand, and I'll say it again. Yes, you cheapen the brand when you create a theme park that is subpar. Okay, so, and I agree. Like, look, it says here, Disney is exploring options for smaller parks. Look, I think that cheapens the brand. If Disney is going to make a smaller park and it's going to look like a budgeted smaller park, that cheapens the brand. Okay. Now here's the thing. Other ancillary material. So Disney Quest, Disney stores, things like that. That's different. That doesn't cheapen the brand, because that's not, most people, when they go to a Disney Quest, do not expect the theme park experience at Disney Quest. When you go to a Disney store, you are not expecting a theme park level experience at a Disney store. It's not apples and apples, okay? There's a different level of expectation when you're going into a Disney Quest and when you're going to a Disney theme park. So my point with Universal was, if you're going to build a theme park, it's going to be compared to your other theme parks. So if you're building Epic Universe, which is supposedly the most technologically advanced theme park to grace the earth, and then you're going to build this crappy little kiddie park, 20 acres in Texas, yes, you're damaging the brand. That's the follow-up to Epic Universe. That's going to change. Epic Universe is supposed to change the game. And follow that up with a 20-acre Gensler park?
Well, then apparently maybe Epic Universe is not going to change the game as we thought.
I mean, maybe the point with Universal is that the Gensler park will make Epic Universe look better. Maybe that's the point. I don't know.
Maybe. But yeah, but I completely agree with you, OG. And this is going for Disney too, folks. We're not just saying Universal, because we're talking about now, this is Disney saying this now. We didn't agree with it for Universal, and we're not agreeing it with Disney as well. Because I agree, it cheapens the brand, and that is kind of worrisome to me, because now if Disney is exploring these different options, if they do happen to invest in $60 billion, is this what the $60 billion is going to go towards?
No, I don't agree with that. Look, I'll say it. Universal, you're cheapening your brand by building cheap fucking parks. 20-acre cheap parks made for kids is cheap. If you want to build a kiddie park that's quality, that's fine. It doesn't seem like that's the case over there, though, in Frisco. It seems like it's a really budgeted, small thing. Okay?
Right.
Now, here's the thing. To be fair to Universal, comparing theme park to theme park, apples and apples. Now, the Halloween Horror Nights thing that Universal is doing in Vegas, that's not fair to hold to a theme park standard. So I would say that's the same as comparing Disney Quest to a theme park. It's not apples and apples there. It's apples and oranges. So I think the Halloween Horror Nights thing in Vegas is actually a better investment, because I think that's a different kind of experience. And I think people are intelligent enough to know that's not the same as a theme park. But when you build another theme park, it's natural. They're going to compare it to the other theme parks. It's like, look, take Disney, for example. In the 90s, in the late 80s, early 90s, Disney was doing a lot of animation stuff, really cool stuff, right? So they had like things like Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast in theaters. Amazing animation, really pushing boundaries for Disney. But then also Disney was also doing TV shows like DuckTales and Darkwing Duck and Tailspin. Okay, now obviously DuckTales and Tailspin and Darkwing Duck did not have the same level of quality in animation that the film like a film like Beauty and the Beast or The Lion King had. Okay, because they're not apples and apples. It's a TV show and a movie, so fans know there's a difference there, and they expect a quality difference. Now, if Disney were to make another animated movie, they compare that, and it's cheap. It looks cheap, like it's like television animation. Then you can fairly compare it to like a Beauty and the Beast and go, hey, they're slipping. So if you're going to make the same product and just make it cheaper, yes, it's going to cheapen the brand, you guys. It's you know, it's this is common sense. You know, I mean, if you're building a theme park, it's going to be compared to their theme parks. If you're building an arcade, it will not. It's an ancillary thing that's not comparable. So
yeah, I agree. Now, do you think that if Disney were to invest in the $60 billion, this is what the money would go towards, or at least some of it?
Probably some of it, dude. And honestly, some of the stuff I don't disagree with. Like, I think that if you do this in a creative way, you can sort of create cool experiences. Like, I think the Halloween Horror Night thing that Universal's doing in Vegas is a cool idea. I said it before in that video I did with Vash. That's a cool idea, dude. That'll probably be very successful. But there are other things that I would not support. If Disney wants to make a 20-acre kiddie park that's going to be cheap looking, you know, with a very small budget, no, I don't support that.
And oh no, you got to finish.
Well, no, because people are gonna associate that with the other parks, and it's gonna be it creates a brand problem, a big time brand problem. Go ahead, George. I'm sorry, brother.
No, you're good. And I feel Disney might be failing to take this route because of the numbers of the people that are possibly not going through the turnstiles as right now, especially with Walt Disney World. And because just recently, I mean, I've even followed the traction inside Walt Disney World and at Magic Kingdom, and there was not a whole lot of people there, especially compared to Disneyland. I was just at Disneyland, and even at DCA, they were packed. Those parks were packed. Especially on Monday. I even told you that, OG. I ended up calling you and I said, this is for a Monday. It's like shoulder to shoulder out here.
Right.
And you look at Walt Disney World and there's parts of it that's like a ghost town. So in a way, Disney is kind of losing money. So are they essentially going to invest in, right now at least, in something that's not bringing them money? Where people may be not traveling as much because, let's admit, you know, finances of the economy right now with the recession and, you know, what have you, and just from the pandy and the shutdown. Now we're looking at another possible government shutdown. It's like they don't know what the hell they're doing. So it's now Disney is like kind of stuck in that middle ground of, okay, well, we still need to make money. If people can't come to Disney, can we bring Disney to them? And they could still make a profit.
Yes. And there's a smart way to do that and a not so smart way to do that.
Correct.
And I'm not against smaller projects being greenlit. I'm not against that. I'm not against Disney being brought to like other communities that might not have access to Disney. I'm not against that.
But don't do it like a typical pop-up shop. You know what I mean? Or like something that, as you said, cheapens the brand, where it's like it diminishes the company. It's like, wow, they actually subdued themselves to this.
Right. You want to do it in a smart way. Like the Disney stores were a smart investment. They were not theme park quality, but they branched the Disney brand out, right?
Correct.
And people understood that. It's a retail store. We're not expecting a theme park experience. So there's a thing. You know, so when people say, oh, well, you know, Disney wants to do this ancillary thing and that ancillary thing, and it's not cheapening the brand, because, you know, it is cheapening the brand if they're building other theme parks that are cheaper than what they currently have. That's cheapening the brand 100%, you know. But if they want to do like what Universal's doing with the Halloween Horror Nights and do something like a smaller kind of thing in Vegas, I support that. Because with fans, I think the expectation is different for something like that than a theme park. It's not as comparable, you know?
Now, did Disney confirm they were doing this, or did they confirm that they were thinking about doing this?
Disney did not confirm. This is a rumor from Mice Chat.
Okay, so Disney didn't confirm anything at all.
They did not.
Okay.
And from what I understand, a friend of the channel, Ranking the Mouse, actually made a tweet about this, saying that like he thought recently, and I think he's right on this, and I'll try to find the quote, but like he was saying that like Disney actually said they're not interested in that kind of stuff. like these kind of regional things
Right.
recently. So I'm
I
gonna
actually
look into
think I
that.
remember. I thought I remember reading something on that too. Believe it or not.
Right, but my chat's saying that's what they're hearing, that they are interested. So I
Right.
don't know. I don't really know. And I'm not necessarily against it. I just think that you can do it in the right way and you can do it in the wrong way.
Right.
So we'll see how it kind of pans out. But it does cheapen the brand, dude. Like if Disney were to build, let's say a 25-acre park in Texas or Arizona, right? And it was just this like Gensler cheap 20-acre thing. I mean, when you walk into that place, look, that's going to be compared to Disneyland and in the Florida parks. And you
Exactly.
also have to think too, the people of that area are going to associate that park with Disney the brand.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be very, very careful. So if you have a park in Texas with a Disney name on it that's cheap as fuck and small, those Texans that have never been to Disneyland or have never been to Walt Disney World are going to associate Disney theme parks with the one they have in their backyard. That's why it's
Exactly.
so important to make sure it's quality.
And
Now,
and
if you
and
build a Disney Quest in Texas, that's a whole different thing because it's not a theme park.
and honestly, to be honest with you, Disney can build of what you're describing right down the street from me in my almost in my backyard. But if it's not up to the high quality standard as opposed to their original parks, no, my ass is jumping on a plane and going and spending my money where the money's worth.
I know. So it's just all about how they allocate that and how they approach it, And look, I'm not like here to like crap on Universal because I think there are elements of that ancillary stuff that Universal is doing very well, like the
Right.
Halloween Horror Night thing. I think that's a
And
very
again,
smart
it's just
decision.
it's just all about how it comes down to actually creating a finished product. And that goes the same thing with Universal. If Universal can pull it off, it could be very successful. But if you're going to do something that's going to cheapen the brand and you're going to call it a theme park, then it better be to the caliber of your previous parks that you already have.
Yes. The same thing I said about the films in the 80s and 90s. If you're going to release Beauty and the Beast in 1991, and then you release in 1992 a movie that has DuckTales animation into theaters, people are going to be like, what the fuck? Because they're both movies. You understand? So, but DuckTales is a TV show, though, there's not going to be that comparison because they're two different products. So, and this other thing, too, this argument of like, well, and I hear it all the time. Oh, gee, the Universal Park in Texas is for kids. That doesn't give you a pass to just be cheap. I'm sorry. Every single Fantasyland dark ride at Disneyland is for kids, and they're all top-notch quality. They all look fantastic, and they're beautiful attractions. You can make a kid park and make it be quality. Just
If
because
that
it's a kid park.
if that would be the case, anytime we go into a Disney park, we would see not a kid; it would just be all adults.
Yeah. No, it doesn't make sense, dude. Like the Villain Con thing, I've railed against the Villain Con. Even our homie Drunk 3PO was saying that thing is not good. It's not a good ride. And it doesn't matter if it's for kids. It's still not good. Secret Life of Pets is good. It
Yeah.
works on multiple levels.
Oh, I
It's
love
for
that
kids.
ride. That
Oh, me too.
like I went on that and I thought I wish Disney would get back into those kind of rides that they do with their dark rides.
Right.
Because it was phenomenal. You have the audio animatronics, you have the great storyline, you have the phenomenal queue. I agree with you. Secret Life of Pets works. And I'm sorry, anything with minions, I'm sorry. I'm like over that minion train a long time ago.
Oh, man, I've never been on it, and they milk that. And I'll be real with you. Like, I actually the old school like Universal IP, I was way more into like the Back to the Future,
Jaws.
E.T., the Jaws,
Yeah.
the American Tail. American Tail is one of my favorite animated movies ever, ever.
That's
That movie
something.
is so emotional. If that movie doesn't break you, you have no soul.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree with you. I agree with you. Especially with the song from the soundtrack Somewhere Out There.
Oh my
Um
god. Don't even get me started on that, dude. I'm telling you, that movie is fantastic. And it's Steven Spielberg, so of course,
of course.
But like,
Yeah.
I used to love the old school Universal IP. This new stuff, though, man, like, I don't care about Fast and Furious. I don't care about the Minions. And that's all they fucking do now. It's like, I'm just not into it, man. I'm just not. I'm sorry, theme park wizard, but I'm just not into it. And I'm a lot older than Wizard, so that's probably part of it too.
Yeah.
To be fair.
And as I said, I enjoy Universal. I enjoy going. I do
Me
love
too.
the rides. But I take Universal as an experience of how I do when I go to Knott's Berry Farm or when I go to my local amusement park, Kennywood, or Idlewild, or Cedar Point, Hershey Park. That's the category I put Universal in. For me, Disney has a completely separate category.
Well, they are. Yeah, they're in their own. Yeah, because I'll be real with you. Like, I'm not like an amusement park fan. Not like I don't. A lot of fans are like, well, you know what? Disney's too expensive, so I'll go to Knott's and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, I mean, I'll give anything a chance. You know what I'm saying? I'll go to Knott's. I'll go to this, that, and the other. But it's like, I'm not a coaster junkie. I'm not like an amusement park enthusiast. I like Disney parks because I like how it's sort of.
You don't have to necessarily ride to get a full immersive experience at Disney.
Right, it's more of an environment, and I've always said that on the channel. Like even like when we went when we went to Oogie Boogie Bash, we spent a lot before we had our amazing tour guide Jackie. We were just walking through the parks and just kind of hanging out. Like, we didn't ride a whole lot, and I was fine with that, and so were you.
Yeah.
We were soaking in the atmosphere, having a few beers, just chilling. That's the beauty of Disney for me, is being transported into these different environments and just sort of taking in the atmosphere. I'm sorry, if Disney got too expensive for me, and I wouldn't necessarily be drawn to these amusement parks, because they don't offer what I'm looking for. Like, they don't offer that same kind of immersiveness that Disney offers. And I'm sorry, Universal Hollywood doesn't either. It doesn't. It's a studio park with a lot of escalators. There's little pockets of immersion for sure. But it's like, you know what I'm saying?
But overall, it's not cohesive.
Yeah, and I'm not going to Six Flags or any of that. Like, I'm not a thrill junkie. I don't find that fun. And like, for me, it's like, I like the environments. So it's like, I'm not an amusement park person. I'm just not. And I told everyone on my channel before, many times, what got me into this was the animation at Disney. It was the Renaissance era that got me passionate about Disney. It wasn't the theme park even, So I'm not like an amusement park person. So yeah, like if I stop going to Disney, I'll probably still go to Universal here and there, but you're not gonna see me like a regular at Knott's or a regular at like Busch Gardens or something. I'm just not that person. It's not my passion.
Right. Well, you also have to think too, OG, when you had mentioned, if Disney ever comes a time where it's too expensive for us to go, that's why God had given us 2 kidneys. So
yeah, exactly. But you know what, though, George? You know what's not too expensive to go? You know what place that's not too expensive to go, that gives you a quality experience every single time?
I can imagine.
Cafe Lou.
Oh, baby, don't moan like that.
Woo!
Yeah. Cafe Lou.
Cafe Lou. And we've been there. We've been there many times.
We have. Quality experience every single time, and affordable. You can't beat it. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But George, I want to thank you, brother, so much for coming on today, talking theme parks with me, talking all this good stuff, Sanfransokyo Bridge, all that good stuff. If you could let everybody at home know where they can find you on social media, sir.
Absolutely. You can find me on X at Disney George, or you could also see me as George the Italiano on there as well. You can also find me on the podcast, A Walk with Walt. And of course, you'll find me here on my home base at Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner, with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you all so much for watching. Comment down below. Tell me how wrong we are about Universal, because I know there's going to be a lot of heat. I know there's going to be a lot of heat about that, because anytime you criticize Universal, it's like, it's a touchy subject. People don't want to hear it, but you know what? We're going to say it here on this channel. So,
and I think, before we close that out too, OG, like after you finish it, I think for good measure, I think everyone needs to hear it one more time.
Yeah, I think so too. Here, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a wonderful, wonderful day. I bet you that Sanfransokyo Bridge gets fixed long before those hills do. I bet you that Sanfransokyo Bridge gets fixed long before those hills do. I bet you that Sanfransokyo Bridge gets fixed long before those hills do.